What is going on, guys? My name is 4G. So today I wanted to make a video talking about a forgotten weapon when it comes to Fortnite Battle Royale. Not exactly, there's a lot of people that still speculate and talk about it, but it's something that is forgotten when it comes to if they're actually going to bring it back. And I think when it comes to Fortnite OG, we definitely need to see it at least for a short period of time. And what am I talking about? I am talking about the mythic Zapatron. Now I say mythic, I don't mean mythic in the rarity, I mean it is a mythical item that we'll just apparently never see because it was in the game. If you look back at the original version 1.6.3, way back in the actual season 1 back in 2017, they actually added the Zapatron for a short period of time. You could actually find this in supply drops, but it was quickly removed. Of course, this is the only gameplay that we actually know of that is actually uploaded to the internet when it comes to the real Zapatron being used, and not with a modded version of the game on a private server or in Save the World, because that's where it originally came from. But basically, I would love to see this return at least for a short period of time in OG Fortnite. And the reason I want to see this is because I don't think many people ever got to experience this. And if you could experience this nowadays, even for that short period of time, I think that would be a very, very fun time for sure. Now, if you didn't know what kind of weapon this was actually an energy weapon. This is an energy weapon that, as I mentioned, was from Save the World. You would hold it, you would charge it up, and it would release a giant energy beam, or a giant beam of energy. And it was really powerful back from what I recall. I'm glad in this one clip, the one clip that the Zapatron was actually shown in, that the person playing actually got an elimination with it, because if not, then we might not know how much damage this truly did. Again, without using private servers or anything like that, but I'm talking about from a legitimate OG clip. But this thing would absolutely destroy their enemies, and the reason that they removed it was because they didn't think that it fit the Battle Royale theme. And honestly, if we look back at original Fortnite, I completely agree. I think that it did not really fit, though it would have been fun to still have a little bit of time, but it doesn't really fit with the original look that Fortnite was going for. It was kind of going for a cartoony but military themed game. Of course, over time that completely changed and it got more and more and more crazy, especially nowadays. Look at even at Chapter 2 Season 7. I mean, this was a while ago at this point. This is about 3 years ago, but still, we have actual energy weapons and everything in the game. Clearly, this is not a problem thematically anymore. I mean, maybe it would be for OG Fortnite, but I don't know. I just don't think that is truly a problem if they were going to bring it in for even just a couple of days. I think that it would be so fun if they just randomly, without anybody knowing, added it into the game one day with no patch notes, no update, and it was just there. Now, the only problem I could see with this is I do not believe it is in the files, the Battle Royale files currently. From what I've read, it was actually removed in the original Chapter 1 Season 4. I don't know how accurate that is. Maybe they added it back. Again, it's in Save the World, so it's in those files, but it's not exactly the same weapon, I guess. It's not listed as the exact same thing in the code, but I do think that if they somehow surprised us and threw it in here, it would be pretty nice. Now, we have a whole bunch of Fortnite leakers nowadays. They'd probably have spoiled it as soon as it hit the files in some way, but it would still be kind of cool if they just did that, because I mean, if you're trying to keep Fortnite OG authentic, it's technically authentic, even if it was a mistake. I mean, there's a lot of mistakes in Chapter 1. For an example, the Infinity Blade, that was a mistake, and yet it was in Chapter 1 Season 7, and I'm sure they're going to put it in Chapter 1 Season 7 when we return to that season. But I think the Zapatron, I think it is time. I mean, they've even teased it when the map was flipping from Chapter 2 to Chapter 3. What happened to this? What happened? They're constantly teasing this thing. They just never want to actually add it back to the game. And on one hand, I kind of like that. I kind of like that it's constantly being this thing, this mythic item that is just so rare and so impossible to obtain that they just will not add it back to the game, kind of thing. I don't exactly know, but that's kind of the feeling I get when it comes to it. But they also actually teased it in Chapter 2 Season 7, I believe is the season we got it, the Imposters mode, which of course is the Among Us mode, the Deceit mode, whatever you want to call it. They actually had a room where you could go over there, and in the armory section of the map, by the way, that map was so cool. It was kind of just going through it, and that map was actually really cool. The fact that you could just go through this entire map and had Easter eggs and stuff. Anyways, the point is, you could actually see it in a vaulted version of the Zapatron, and I thought that that was pretty cool. Now, what I mean by a vaulted version, I mean it was crystallized in the same way that all the weapons in the unvaulting event back in Chapter 1 Season 8 would have been, and I thought that that was a very cool touch. So it's kind of like this incredibly rare item is so rare, it's not even in the vault. It's being watched by the IO, or whatever the characters are. I don't even know. Does the Fortnite even have a story anymore? I don't even know. What happened to the IO? I don't even know what happened to them, or the loop, or what happened to the rock, you know? Like, where'd he go, man? I don't know anything about the Fortnite story anymore because I don't even think it has one at this point. I think they're just winging it. They're just doing whatever at this point. Now, real quick fun fact for anybody who doesn't actually play Fortnite Save the World, in Fortnite Save the World, when you go to craft ammo for the Zapatron, or for really any energy weapon, but let's just talk about the Zapatron because of course that's what this video is made for. Well, this actually requires bacon. Why? I have no idea, but this one particular item was so rare to find in the world way back in the early days of Fortnite that they actually had to buff it in the Chapter 1 Season 4 update, or version 4.0, which I actually think is kind of funny because I still to this day rarely ever use energy ammo when I play Save the World, so I never really came across this problem. But for anybody who actually does like energy weapons in Save the World, yeah, this was apparently a big problem finding bacon so that you could power your Zapatron. Or, well, there was a whole bunch of other energy weapons that were definitely a lot better, but of course the Zapatron was one of them. But regardless, I would love to see the Zapatron finally be in Battle Royale. And I think, again, in Season 1, this would be the best time to do it. It was added with the same update that the scoped AR was added, so I don't think we will see it if we're being completely real. If we're being completely honest, no, I don't think it will come out. But it would be nice to see it, is all I'm saying with this video. But it came out with the same update as the scoped AR, and if that's the case, well, we already have the scoped AR, so I don't truly think that that will change anything, and I don't think that we're going to be getting the Zapatron. But I'm just saying, thematically, I don't think it's a problem anymore, and I just think that it would be fun to have for a short period of time. I don't think that they should leave it in the game, because it was, again, very powerful, it was very easy to use, and it kind of felt like a weapon that was not really tested very long. It kind of felt like a beta version of a weapon, if that makes sense, because it was pretty much a sniper rifle, but an energy sniper rifle, which if you've played Chapter 2, you know we've had these things. If you've played any recent seasons as well, I think we've had even crazier things. There's so many things, so many crazier items at this point in time, as they've had to consistently add and change certain aspects of the game to keep people engaged, to keep things feeling fresh. They've always had to change things, but back then they wanted to keep that military but a cartoony version of it, that feeling, that theme, and I think they did it pretty well for a long time. But of course eventually it branched out, and I think at this point, even just for a short period of time, they should add the Zapatron just one last time. Let us use it, because very little amounts of people actually got to use this. That's why it is such a beloved, a sought after weapon that people still talk about to this day. It's not because people actually really truly care about the weapon itself, it's just the idea, the rarity. And I mean, maybe that would ruin it now that I think about it. Maybe that would ruin it. Maybe it's a good thing that it is completely absent from the game and they just leave it in this purgatory, or whatever you want to call it, where nobody can access it, and the only people who ever got to access it were the people who were playing for that short 10 minutes or however long it was in the game way back in the day. And I truly do believe it actually was 10 minutes only in the game. Could be longer, maybe, I don't exactly know, but the fact that there's only one clip of it kind of tells me that it was not in the game for very long. And if I can find some information on how long it was in the game for sure, I'll put it on the screen, but I'm not exactly sure. But regardless, I want to hear what you guys have to say about this. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Would you like to see the Zapatron finally make a return, even if just for a short period of time while we're in Season 1? Or do you think it should stay rare, never return, and they should just keep teasing it as they've done over the years? But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. That's going to wrap up this video. If you guys enjoyed, a like would be greatly appreciated. If you're new here and you like videos like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day.